And now, a very important message.
Hi, my name is James Roguski. I am the moving force behind IndependentCongress.com. Our purpose is very simple. We're fed up with the same old from the Democrat and Republican Party, and we are supporting candidates who are running for Congress, that is the House of Representatives and the Senate in 2022, so long as they are not part of either machine. If they're independent or from some of the other parties like Green, Libertarian, Constitution, or any other party, you have our support. And all we are offering is access to information about the candidacies of various people, because we know that the mainstream media is not going to help them out. We're getting support from alternative media who are interviewing candidates and getting this information out to people so that everyone can know that in 2022, when all of the districts are going to be redrawn because of the latest census, you will have more than just the two boring choices. It's not just Democrat and Republican. You will know that you have a choice to make a change that you see fit when you go to vote in 2022. So visit independentcongress.com, get involved, and contact me anytime. My name is James Roguski, and you can reach me at 310-619-3055.
Are you ready? Check it out, y'all.
You're listening to the realest. You're listening to the realest voice in progressive media. DJ Elf 7.
Yo, what's up? Check out your boy DJ Elf 7. Today, I got a very special guest. Now, there's a lot of candidates running, but this candidate of particular interest, yeah? So we're going to talk with him. I'm going to let him introduce himself, though. Go ahead.
Hey, so I'm Jonathan Howe. I'm running for what is currently New York's 14th Congressional District, which is represented by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I think most people have heard of, which is quite helpful. I'm running as a libertarian, although I'm open to any other parties endorsing me. My platform is basically peace, justice, and a clean planet through individual liberty.
Awesome. Okay, so now I know the redistricting meeting happened. I wasn't able to attend, right? But have they finished redistricting?
No, we don't quite know when they will. In theory, it could be as early as January 15th. It could be as late as mid-April. There's really two propositions for the district. They could split it, and they could make my district, which would go essentially from Astoria almost all the way down to Bay Ridge. So I would just be like the East River district. Or they could keep it essentially how it is, where it's split between northern Queens and southeastern Bronx. But just a little bit bigger, because as you know, we lost a congressional seat after the last.
Yeah,
census.
redistricting may make AOC technically no longer an incumbent, right? As she tries to, because the district will change, so that may make her uniquely vulnerable, where you may have a better shot. And we're trying to actually do something called Independent Congress for 22. We're trying to get independent and third-party candidates across the nation to put together something called the Unified Platform for 22. So we can challenge the duopolies, corporate. And I actually watched the interview that you had on another channel. What are some of the other channels, small channels that you've also done? I know you did one with Graham Elwood, right? That we have.
I did one with Graham Elwood. I thought that went really well. We disagreed on a few things, but it was all respectful.
And there's another podcast, right? What's the name?
Yeah, so I did one with a guy named Josh Smith, who's a libertarian. I did one with Angelo on Liberty Hour podcast. That was my first one. I've done a few that are audio only. I did one with the Alternative Parties podcast. That was a lot of fun. And then just yesterday, I actually recorded one with the Community Cats podcast, which is a podcast which is just about trap, neuter, return projects, which is one of my passions. That won't be out until early next year, but yeah, I've done a few.
I'd love to link up with some of them podcasts. I saw them; they were pretty good. But let's get into some of the issues about yourself now, right? You're actually quite an interesting candidate, and I encourage everybody watching this video to definitely watch this one, because this guy has a lot of complexities which need to be understood as a candidate. So first of all, let's just cover your background first, right? What is your this political thing, right? How'd you get started in the whole political arena?
Well, how did I become interested in politics? I read a book in ninth grade called the Plutonium Files. And it's about government experimentation on unwitting citizens, where they literally just took pure uranium and plutonium and injected it into people to see what would happen.
They've done that type of thing, right? Tuskegee, they've done it.
Yeah. And so here I was sitting in public school, being educated by the government, reading a book about how the government could just come and they were giving orphans radioactive Wheaties,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't trust the government as much as I do. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. I did a DARE project, drug abuse resistance education. I had to do a report on why marijuana should be illegal. And I looked up some stuff and I found this guy named Ron Paul in about 2006, 2007. And I was like, oh, marijuana shouldn't be illegal. This is all a scam. This is all just a giant part of the police industrial complex, and we need to legalize it. I did not get a good grade on that paper, but ever since then I've been a crazy libertarian person, and it just spiraled
Okay.
from there.
Let's talk a little bit more about your political experience, right? Do you have, you said you've been a libertarian for a long time. Have you ever run for office before? Have you ever held like a type of position of responsibility? Go ahead.
I've never run for office. It didn't seem like a good use of time really for a libertarian to run for office. I think now is very different. I think we're in a unique position, and we'll definitely get to that. But my political experience, I did work for a state senator out on Long Island. His name was Craig Johnson. This when I was in college at Hofstra. He was like a moderate Democrat. I just happened to get an internship at his office because I needed some kind of work experience. He won re-election, and they hired me part-time. And I just got to see, he was a good guy.
So you were in college, you decided to work at this guy's place, but what were you going to college for?
So I initially went to be a filmmaker. I wanted to make movies. I got there and I started, and this is no offense to anybody, but I met all the fellow people who wanted to be filmmakers, and I was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I could just hang out with these people all day. So I just kind of, I did what everyone tells you to do. I go and figure out what you like and do something. So I ended up with a degree in international business and economics. And what do you do with that? Nothing. I became a cold caller on Wall Street. Hated the job. It was the only
so you
thing
end
I
up
could get.
becoming like a stockbroker, but you don't even need a college degree for that, right? Yeah.
No, it was a total waste. So I did that for a while. I hated myself. I hated my life.
How long is a while?
Quit that. About two and a half years, somewhere in there. It was miserable. Quit that job. I went to my favorite bar and was mourning the fact that I was unemployed, and they're like, oh, well, why don't you just work here? So I started bartending for a bit. So I bartended at a bar on the Upper East Side where it's like a craft beer bar. And my brother's a brewer, so I knew a lot about beer, and it gave me a nice little leg up and a way to talk to people. Started talking to people a lot more. I met a lot of lawyers, and I said, I should just go to law school. Like, I hate the government. I should go to law school, and I should become a public defender where I can save people from the government.
We have a very similar background, but that's hugely interesting. Now, the thing is that when you came out of law school, right, you didn't just graduate, you actually graduated cum laude. You were like, you did very well, yeah? Yeah.
I did quite well. Yeah, I had a full ride scholarship to Cardozo University. They were very generous with that. I'm so grateful to that I didn't have to rack up a ton of debt. I still did, because you can't really work full time while you're going to law school. So I had to take out some loans for that. Still got those.
So wait,
That's
you were going towards
great.
law, and you said you were just looking for some job. Now, a lot of people will go for a job in the industry they're trying to get involved in, right? Because you could apply for internship at Apple or Google or, like some steel manufacturing, but you decided to go work for a senator. Was that in any way tied to your political thing at all?
Well, that was during college. So that was back in 2008 through 10. So I was working for the senator 2008 through 10, and then I was in law school 2015.
Now, it's rare for
so I had
students to actually be able to get to the senator's office. Only you have to do pretty well. What made them select you?
Honestly, I went up to I think I was one of the few people who actually applied for the internship, and then I just worked hard. And I developed relationships with the other people who worked there, and when they won, they said, look, you helped a lot, so we'll hire you.
There might be just a few applicants, but they'll all be good. There'll be people who are ambitious, who want to achieve things.
Yeah, and look, I kind of didn't have much of like a resume at the time, but I went and interviewed, and you yuck it up a little bit, and that's often the way you get in. I can't explain how I got that first job, because I definitely wasn't.
That's fine. Don't worry about that. Yeah, but
all,
I'm just interested in understanding you as a person. So you graduate cum laude, then you actually, so you become a lawyer, right? But what kind of lawyer are you again? Are you a public defender, or you're in the defense, right? Are you public?
Yeah, so I'm a public defender in Bronx County Family Court. And when I applied to law school, in my application letter, I said the only thing that I want to be with a law degree and with a a bar admission would be a
Okay.
public defender. There's nothing else I would go in. I would never work in a job where I put people in cages or I rip.
And
people's
how many
families
people
apart. I
graduate
cannot do it.
cum laude and end up becoming public defenders? That's a rare thing, right?
I mean,
Am I right or am I wrong? Yeah.
well, I'll tell you. There's a popular myth that the very
I met
worst
them.
people
I met
go
some
into
of them.
public
But there's
defense,
also people like yourself.
the worst people, and there are organizations where they just kind of will hire because they need to hire people. The organization I work for is one of the most amazing organizations in the world. It's Bronx Defenders. They're fantastic. They do not endorse my campaign. I'm not acting like they do. They couldn't even if they wanted to, and I doubt they would. But it's filled with really some of the best
And
people.
one thing
Like,
that I really
really,
respect
really
about you is the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of people who talk a good game, but they've sacrificed nothing. But you could have a more profitable career defending a lot of people, right? Have money and they want defense, but you decide to go public with it. So man, respect, man, because honestly, a lot of people can talk. Anybody can talk, but they need to shut the fuck up and show through their actions. So we're gonna find out more, but that's a good sign. So I was excited. I'm particularly excited about this interview for a number of reasons, but that right there, right, that people's commitment and what they've sacrificed is a huge part for me, like understanding how much they can be trusted.
I agree. Like, if no track record, and I'm not just talking about myself, but if there's no track record of having, no financial interest in the job that you're doing, like you're not using it
And
to advance your
sacrifice.
career.
Fuck that. Not just because if they're just neutral, right, they can go either way. But if you have sacrificed for the poor, then I can trust you. But even if they've never, right, if they're just a casual who's never actually been poor, but they just say, oh, that's a bad idea. But then someone says, oh, and the celebrities show up, and the money shows up, and the connections show up, and they're like, oh, just do it this way. They're easily convinced, right? But someone who's yeah. So
yeah, a lot of people can get starstruck like that. And look, I've self-limited myself, or term-limited myself to 2 terms. A, because I don't want to become a career politician, because we know what happens to them. They become the opposite of what they run on. And B, because I really do love my job. Like, I love working in Bronx County Family Court because there is so much damage being done. And I think some of the most good you can do is going to the place where the most damage is being done and stop it.
Cool, man. Now the thing is, I heard about that. I had mixed feelings about the term limited thing, but I understand the sentiment behind it. And the fact of the matter is, I've actually made a promise myself to never run for office. But the thing is that I will be effective on the ground. But I've been in office before, and I know that it has a lot of things that can be accomplished in that spot. So I give you a lot of props for making that shot right there. So now, right, from your understanding of things, I believe the first thing that you said was peace, right? Yeah, as in terms of you said representing yourself. Why did you put peace first? Or maybe like, all 3 of them are equally important. But, from your background, right, public defender, maybe you exposed to violence. Help me to understand, right, what's your real core, what you're trying to get done here, as in terms of
Well, my basic moral philosophy is that you have no right to initiate the use of force against other people, right? You cannot go out and harm people, and that should be the core, I think, of everyone's philosophy. So peace really stands for 2 different things. It's peace at home and peace abroad. So peace abroad is really easy to nail down. Stop bombing people. Stop selling bombs to people. Stop causing conflict. Stop sending CIA agents to overthrow governments and start civil wars. All of that. It's very easy. Abolish the CIA. Cut the military budget by 75 to 90%. We would be safer for it. We are creating our own enemies because it's very profitable, and we have been for well over 100 years at this point. So that one in my mind is easy to describe. Bring the troops home. Stop bombing people. Stop all participation.
But where's have you sacrificed for this particular issue? Why are you personally connected to it? You know what I mean? Like, why can I trust you? Like, it's a good line, right? But why are you going to go beyond the next guy who says the same thing?
Well, I have no financial interest in it, right? I don't like seeing people dying.
But that could happen later, right? They could always pay you off later, right? So, yeah, so you ain't in the tide now, but you will be if you win, right? Yeah, they're going to make,
that's part of the 4-year, that's part of the 2-term limit that I've self-imposed on myself, which is that, who's going to go out and spend the money, corrupting me if I'm going to be gone in 3 years? It's a lot less, it's it's a less lucrative
So let's
investment.
let's
Let's put it
refocus that, right?
way.
What have you sacrificed for? What can you tell me, right? What can you show me that I can believe you 100%, right? This is your core thing, and you've been trying to get at it, and you're going to get it as soon as you become in office. What are you working for?
I mean, I can't say that I've chained myself to a tree or anything like that, but for, let's see, it's been 14 years since I got actively involved in campaigning for libertarian and libertarian style candidates. And oftentimes, annoying my family, annoying my friends, like, you have to vote for Ron Paul, you have to vote for Gary Johnson, we need to end the wars, we need to do this. I was calling out Obama for getting involved in Syria back in 2011. The false red line, and then the shipment of arms over there. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't sacrificed to end wars, but I have been outspoken about it. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think there's much one person can do outside of office to end the wars, unless you're really willing to, like, be like those people who are, like, pouring blood on draft cards back during the Vietnam War. And unfortunately, it's all digital now, so it's a little bit harder. So no, I mean, I won't pretend like I've gone out and given up my life or risked my liberty for it, but it is a top issue. Like, there's no reason that we should be doing any of this. We don't gain anything. And you and I, we live in New York City, right? If you live in New York City, if we're going to start a war with Russia over Ukraine, or if we're going to start a war with China over Taiwan, where is the first nuke going to land when we go to thermonuclear war, which is the next step?
I don't know about those things. I mean, where the first nuke's going to land, I can't really predict that or know that. But it's good for me to understand your take a little bit more. So I appreciate that. Yeah. By the way, what does that shirt say? The revolution.
It says the revolution will not be pasteurized.
That's a fun shirt right there. I appreciate
It's
that.
on getrawmilk.com. I'm a big raw milk
Okay, that's cool.
advocate.
All right, so let's move on to some other. So the thing is, you've been a libertarian for a while, right? Yeah.
If
No,
I could
please,
just real
please,
quick,
absolutely.
sorry to interrupt. So we were talking about peace. That's peace
Okay.
abroad. We need peace at home as well. That means peace between the police and the citizenry. That means peace between rivaling gangs and cartels. And the way that you do that, why do the police have big machine guns? Why do the police have tanks and Humvees? Let's pretend you're a cop and you're told you have to go raid that drug lab. You know that drug lab is going to be guarded because it's a valuable investment for whatever gang is running it. And if you want to go home to your family at night, you want the body armor, you want the machine gun, you want to just run over the fucking thing with your tank, arrest the dead bodies like they tend to do, and then call it a night. It's much easier. The only way we can defund the police and not have it just pendulum shift right back.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you're pro defund the police? Okay.
Yeah. So the only way we defund the police is you first have to defund the
What do you know about?
cartels.
Okay.
Right.
So what do you know about defunding the police?
So,
because some of those things have already been instituted here in New York City.
Well, and that's the exact thing. And now we're seeing the pendulum shift right back, right? So we've cut back all these punishments, but we actually haven't solved the underlying problem.
I guess where the money ended up, the money ended up at night shift for more corruption. It's just another funneling form. So the thing is that defund the police can be used to mask other bullshits. You get what I mean? Yeah.
So what role do you think the police should play? In my mind, they should be solving murders. They should be solving armed robbery. They should be solving.
They should be going after Wall Street. They don't fucking rip us off. And what the fuck, man? You know what I mean? Why you always coming at us but never going at them? We just want fairness. If we fuck up, lock us up. But if they fuck up, lock them up too.
They shouldn't be targeting regular, everyday people for victimless crimes, and that is most of what they do. Most of the police budget is catching drugs and drug dealers. If I'm drinking a hard cider here, if alcohol was still illegal, they'd be spending most of their time hunting down moonshiners and illicit breweries, and we don't need that. If we just ended the war on drugs today, we could cut the police budget by 50%, and it wouldn't change anything with how much they need to investigate real crime. So it's not defund the police like just let crime happen. It's change the definition of crime. If there's a victim, it can be a crime. If there's no victim, it's not a crime. Addiction is a disease, not a crime. And the only reason we have violence around drugs is because they're illegal. The brewer of this cider, he's not worried about his rival cider maker coming over and shooting him up or stealing his stuff. The people who are worried about that are people who operate in the black market because they're forced into the black market. So if you legalize all these things and you just let people deal in them reasonably, they become safer because you're never going to worry about fentanyl being in your cider, just like you're not going to be worried about fentanyl being in your heroin if you want to buy heroin, if it's legal, because you can track it back to the producer. At this point, you cannot. Like, if you buy a bad batch of heroin, you overdose. You can't go like, well, this guy sold it to me so that it was produced by this person. You have no idea who
Okay, wait,
produced it.
but
There's no way to hold people accountable when it's in the black market.
okay. Well, I agree with some elements of that, right? So that's cool, and I definitely understand the sentiment, right? I'm not here to dice like hairs and stuff like that. So it's good to just understand your positions on that, right? Now, so we hear the thing that you said originally, you're libertarian, right? But you're not your typical libertarian that people think of, right? Yeah.
So a lot of people think of libertarians have a bad name, right? Because people say like, oh, they're Koch brother libertarians. Like, no. Libertarians are anti-corporate because corporations are government entities. They have a monopoly. They're not part of a free market. If you have limited liability, you are not acting on the same level as a consumer, and therefore it is not really a free market or a market at all. You have protections. If I rip someone off in my personal life, I am liable. If Exxon or Pfizer or someone else rips people off in their personal life, the person who made that choice is not liable. The shareholders are liable. They might have to pay a little fine, a penny off the stock price here and there, but the actual wrongdoers are not punished. And the same goes for when they commit a crime. And I've used this example before. If I were to take a barrel of oil and bring it over to your front yard and pour it in your yard, that would be a crime. Now, somehow when BP does it to the entire frickin' Gulf Coast, they can come and they can do a tour of America and say, sorry, here's some money. Oh, we're so sorry about that. That guy should have been in fucking jail. I mean, there's no way that corporate protections should allow people to harm millions of people, destroy entire industries, destroy entire communities, and then just get off with a fine. And not only do they get off with a fine, but if you have a 401k or if you have a 403b or any of these tax incentive accounts, you're investing in those companies and propping up their stock price just every month when you pay into it. And so not only do they get these protections, they get these little cushions so that they none of this really ever hurts them in the long run.
So as a libertarian, right, how much support do you have from the Libertarian Party in terms of like your race?
Oh, so I've been overwhelmed by the support. I made one call to the Queens Libertarian Party, a gentleman, Eric Cordova. He picked up, he's like, look, we can't run your campaign for you. We can't give you a ton of funding. We can't do this or that, but we'll get volunteers now, and we'll have people, show up. And they have. Like, there's been so much support from the New York Libertarian Party.
Let me show you something right here.
I've been humbled.
See this right here?
I was going to comment on it.
So I'm actually on this, I think the state and the national organizing Slack, and I am supposed to be helping people with videos and honestly I like you in a lot of ways, and I think that there's other potential with other programs I have going, so appreciate that. I think as a libertarian, just going to mention right quick, I always got a lot of allies I got to look out for. My Karen Harlos, right? Yeah, you're aware with what's going on with her? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I met Carrie Ann a few weeks
Just want to
ago.
shout her out. I know she's going through some things, but we're going to have differences of opinion, but you got support out here, and right, just as a person, right? Yeah, whatever position's going on, I need to find out more about that, but I know Karen's a cool person, so, and I know she likes libertarians.
She's wonderful. I mean, she's controversial because she's outspoken, but that's kind of, it comes with the territory. And look, I've worked a lot recently with Green Party people. I've worked a lot recently
that's
with
great.
people who are trying to get to move to the People's Party.
Oh, me too. Wait a minute.
If we're not gonna,
oh my God, you don't even know. But okay, yeah, that's okay, yeah.
So if we cannot, as third parties and minor parties and movements, if we can't ally on issues, we're never going to get any traction. And so when it comes to things, ending the war on drugs, it tends to be something that the Green Party and the Libertarians agree on. Ending the wars overseas tends to be something that the Libertarians and the Green Party agree on. We need to ally
That is amazing,
on those things, and we need to support each other.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to vote for a public defender for city council this year for Tiffany Kavan, and I
Good,
did
thank
because
God,
she's a Democrat. I voted for my man Edwin DeJesus. He's a great guy. I know he was involved in the March for All.
Okay.
He's anti-lockdown. He's anti-mandate.
Yeah.
We agree on
That's
a
true.
ton of stuff. And look, and this is funny because I often hear Green Party going back and forth, and they have their little internal fights, and everyone's like, oh, this is so frustrating. Why can't we just get along? We're all Greens. The same thing happens in the Libertarian Party, and I'm sure the same thing happens in the movement for the People's Party. Because if you're willing to be a third party member, if you're willing to be not part of the duopoly, you have very strongly held opinions, like by definition. So there's always going to be people butting heads. So we really need to find the issues where we can come together, agree on, make it a movement, make each election a movement.
Who did you speak
And
to at Movement for People's Party? I'm very interested.
so I've emailed several times just to the main
Okay.
email. I went to the first couple meetings and tried to introduce
Okay.
myself, like the Zoom meetings. I was trying to get on that one that you mentioned last Tuesday, or was it Wednesday, whatever day it was. I tried to get on that, but my call ended up going way
Okay.
too long. But I've reached out
That's
to a
fine.
lot of people.
Okay.
So far, I haven't heard back, but I also know they're still working on like their bylaws and
Yes.
stuff. I don't think they're able to do like endorsements or candidate interviews at this point. So I'm willing to be patient, but I watch all their stuff. I keep up with their newsletter. I like it because I like that they call it a movement for, because we have to do.
We're
this
gonna
as a
we're gonna
movement,
talk
'cause
more.
it does
There's a
not
whole bunch of history going on back there. I am actually was the New York City coordinator for the People's Party, right? Yeah, and I actually
yeah.
led Yang Gang and People's Party to. We went to Schumer's office in the largest event in live event in People's Party history, and I actually have a lot of accomplishments. I also organized independently the third party independent candidates forum for the last races, which was not talked about. Actually, I'm being suppressed, and if I see Graham Elwood, he might get smacked in the fucking face. But that's on the side, bro. You know what I mean? Honestly, the thing is that if you go to the New York State People's Party meeting, you're gonna find that Nationals has been shitting on us, suppressing us, and doing, you know what I mean? And you'll see some of those fights happening with Libertarians and the Greens too. But our message is completely suppressed, and the messaging is the words are good, but the actions are shit. But the New York State the people that have been showing up in the bylaws and doing the actual work, we doing good, man. They actually making progress. So, right, the people on the ground, that's me, but the people in the media is something different, man. You know what I mean?
Well,
nobody talking about it.
I mean that's probably a universal truth, right? If you're on the ground, it matters to you. If you're up on the podium,
I'm making 10,000 flyers.
You're a big fish in a small pond, and that feels good
I'm a
sometimes.
big fish, but they don't want to recognize. I'm making 10,000 flyers, right? Yeah, and 10,000 business cards, but 10,000 flyers, and going to the projects and telling them right about the Unified Platform for 22. You would be a prime candidate for this type of thing. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a lot of interest.
Let's get on it.
Independent Party
Yeah,
of Delaware.
happy
I'm
to-
talking to people from the Independent Greens in Oregon. We're trying to make this a national thing to force the conversation. So you are really aligned. And talking with the Liberties and Greens, that's perfect. The same thing's going on with my peoples in Oregon. Much shout out to Brent. And the third party independent candidates forum, we had two of them, right? Yeah, who knows that the progressive media shitted on it. Yeah, but we actually had blessings from Serpico. You know Serpico?
So they filmed part of
Yo,
Serpico
what up?
right
You know what I
down the
mean?
street
And
from
they
me, of
can't
course.
talk about this because they playing little political games. Graham Elwood and some of the MMT people are trying to establish control in this space and trying to muscle other people out. But that's on the side, man. Don't worry about that. Yeah, but for real, there's a whole nother undercurrent. But don't worry about that. We have other things to get done. But we are making progress.
And trust me, when I go on libertarian podcasts, there's lots of the same. It's like, oh, the Mises Caucus versus the Progressive Caucus, and I just say, look,
Yeah.
I am running on these
That's
issues.
fair. Yeah.
This is my platform. This is who I am. If you guys and look,
But make
no
sure.
offense, I'm not going for the libertarian vote. I'm not going for the green vote because that would be like 4% at most.
Right.
I want to win this race. Like if I don't win, I want to come in second. Like I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm running.
That's why those flyers are going to make a difference.
To
You know, I mean, we swarming, we doing that ground movement. Yeah.
I need to explain to the 78% of people who voted for AOC why the things that they voted for, the ideas, the ends that they want to achieve, can be better achieved through the policies that I am.
One thing just to let you know, me and Theo Chino, actually, it's mostly Theo Chino's work. He released the voter data of all the districts to all the candidates. So you have access to every single Democrat in her district, and you have their mailing address, and you can know exactly where to get at them. We also, we've done a lot of work as helping candidates just like yourself. We also, I don't know if you've gotten past the paperwork process, but there's a lot of stupid, like barriers that they try to prevent people like you from actually running for office in the ballot access thing. So we've provided workshops and, paperwork review to try to help candidates like yourself. So I'm pretty deep. You won't hear about me through any of the official channels because they try to maintain control, but we will still assist. Yeah, and I'm going out there and slugging.
Yeah, I've noticed the suppression of third parties, and I'm sure you know about the new ballot access change.
We fighting that right now.
Last year.
Yeah.
So the Libertarian Party, we got ballot access thanks to Larry Sharp in 2018. He was our gubernatorial candidate. He did great. He got more votes, I'm pretty sure, than any Libertarian candidate prior in a New York State gubernatorial election. And we got enough to get a permanent party.
Yeah.
And then they changed requirements 2 years later, and it was retroactive. So we lost our party line. Now he's running again, and we're going to get it back. And he happens to live in my district. He actually lives like right down the street. So I've got at least one vote. Which is
so
nice
you say you want to,
but we're going to
you say you want to win, or come in second, but what are you doing to make that happen?
Well, I mean, what am I doing to make it happen? It's what I said before. I'm not appealing just to the libertarians because there's like 25 of us. I'm not appealing just to the radicals because there's like 100 of us. I need to appeal to everyday people, which is what I've been trying to do. For example, just recently, like I know the district might change, so I'm not trying to go too far away from home at this point. I'm trying to get a base of support here in Astoria. You walk into any vape shop and you say, how is business? They say, it's fucking terrible. We can't sell anything anymore. Flavored vapes are banned. And I say, would you like to change that? Here's my platform. Would you put up a sign for me? I'm trying to meet every business owner and ask them, how have you been affected by the recent insanity that we've been going through? And what can we do in Congress to make that easier for you? What issues can we put forward? Not even necessarily what legislation can we do, but like what issues can we bring to the fore to talk about, to highlight, that would help you, your community, your friends, your neighbors. And that's what I've been doing so far. I've been laying the groundwork. I've been raising money. Right now, actually, something I'm doing to try to network and get my name out there and to show people the libertarian way is for December, for every $100 that I raise on my website, how2022.com. That's HOWE 2022.com. For every $100 I raise, we're going to be putting out a winter cat shelter. I've been doing this stuff TNR, where you rescue the cats, you get them fixed, and then you release them back out if they're too old to be adopted out. And a lot of these cats just freeze to death over the winter. So we've gotten these really nice cat shelters where they're just like a big fishing box, which is really insulated, and then you put straw in there so the cats can go in and have a nice comfortable life in there throughout the winter. So I'm going around, I'm trying to meet all the different cat rescue groups throughout the district, and I'm saying, look, if you need a cat shelter, my kitchen is now currently filled with them. Literally cannot use my kitchen because I went and picked up like a dozen of them the other day. And we're going to go around, we're going to show this is how voluntarism works. This is how individuals can help their community. And by the way, my John Howe, and I'm running for Congress. That's essentially what I'm doing right now, trying to lay some groundwork with businesses, with local
one way
groups,
one way that I might be able to help you, and one way that our things might coincide. Remember, Astoria Projects is there. Queensbridge is a little bit down the block, but I know Astoria Projects is there, and they definitely on my list of people I'm going to visit. So when I give them the flyer, because you can see I don't have a lot of subs like Graham, that's fine, because they're not talking about my work on purpose, right? So, but that's okay, because I'm going to do the groundwork and go and talk to the people in the Astoria Project. So when they watching the video, they watching you, right, white boy, saying like some stuff, and then you saying that you, the business, that's sounding good. When you saying you're helping the cats, I like animals, but then people's like, yo, you taking care of the cats. What about the people? What you doing for us? And the project is going to watch this video and say, what you going to do for us, Jonathan? What you going to do for us? And so many people have come up and fucking lied. So they look at, I'm an Asian man going to the projects, giving out the flyers, But nobody, don't matter what I sacrifice, don't matter what I know. I told you about the third party independent candidate forum. I should be out here. They should be dead. I was the top guy in the Yang Gang, and I brought MPP and Yang Gang to Schumer's office, in the largest People's Party event in the nation. They trying to dead that shit, Fuck them, But whatever, man. Fuck you, Graham. Fuck you, Graham. I'll smack you, bitch. You keep going. I'll smack the shit out of you. I'm coming to California, bitch. Go ahead. That's on the side. Jonathan got nothing to do with this, but if you think you're going to squash me, we real grassroots activists doing the hard work, taking the risks, sacrificing out here. You don't fucking silence us.
As long as you live stream. Make sure you live stream it. Whatever ends up happening, make sure you live stream it. Well, a few things. First of all, there is a human benefit to controlling the cat population. One, these cats and kittens are dying, and people have to pick up these dead bodies off the road, and that's not fun. Another one is that they can spread rabies, and when you do TNR, they get a rabies vaccine. There's lots of diseases they can spread around the community, and they get vaccinated again. So that's a minor issue. But speaking about public housing and the projects and that type of thing, one idea that I've heard, I got it from Larry Sharp. I stole it right from him. If you live in public housing, it's not yours. You don't own it. You have no incentive other than your immediate comfort to keep it clean, to keep it nice, or to keep the common areas good. Why don't we allow people to inherit and own their public housing? If we're going to, we the people are going to pay for people to live in these homes until the day they die, why don't we give it?
Can I respond to that?
Why don't we let them own it?
So the thing is, I've been an activist for 25 years. I'm 45 years old. People always underestimate me, especially because I'm Asian, because I look young, whatever. I told you all the stuff I've done. They think it's a fucking joke. Fuck them. Yeah? But I tell you right now that the thing is that I was an activist during the Obama era, and there was something called RAD. And actually, that's why I made the 10,000 flyers, because exactly what you're talking about, it was already instituted. It's already been tried. In fact, right now, they say that the private enterprises are buying the projects. Why? Because that program was originally instituted to give the projects to the people who are living there. That's literally what the flyer says. These projects were meant for you. They're selling it to you out from under you. So the thing is that, right, that's why it's important to listen to people that's been in the game, people on the ground, real activists, not just fucking celebrities and YouTubers who sit in a fucking studio all day who don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm sorry, man. Yo, but honestly, I have a lot of hope for you. You know what I mean? But the thing of the matter is that, you know what I mean? Yo, we are literally doing this shit right now. This shit is urgent right now. They already selling this shit right now. And Nydia Velazquez has some thing to try to get the repairs in because it's under RAD. Repairs, right? Under the guise of doing repairs. That's how they buying out the projects now. But the people prepare so it's already in the works now. We're fighting that battle right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, the people who live there should be the ones who either own
technically,
it or have
right,
the
because
chance
it's
to
public property. They own it, so it was sold, but the public was never involved. So you're right, but it's kind of a funny thing because they do own it, but the thing is that it's being sold without their knowledge or consent. That's real weird.
Yeah, and it should, if you own something, only you can sell it. And I don't mean like the whole country, the whole community should own it. I mean the people like in your
guess
apartment.
Who bought?
Like
and guess who's buying the apartments? Guess who's buying them?
You should be able to inherit it down to your children. You should be able to sell it to someone else or to rent it out, and or something like that. You should be able to take a loan out against it if you want, just like you can.
Let me tell you who's buying them.
And when you start having when you start having an ownership mentality, and when you actually have like a nest egg and something that you can build off of, it completely changes.
That's what people in the project say for real, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Give me a chance to own the shit. And there's people in the project that have beautiful apartments. Some people is fucking it up too, but there's people that made real investments because the city has been incompetent. Now the thing is that when you think about who's buying it, right? Actually, Cornell Pace bought the Kips Bay apartments, right? With these schools that we are funding with our tax dollars, right? Generating reports that the government can use to justify whatever fucking bullshit they want. They're sweeping up destroying the futures of our children and using that money to buy the public projects so they can make more money off it. Because right now, the apartment might only get $100, $200 in rent, but after it goes to market rate, it could go to $2,000, $3,000 easy. That apartment's going to show up by $500,000. And I went to Al Sharpton okay, so this is the level of suppression you're going to face, because I went to fight Al Sharpton because as a top guy in the Yang Gang, I brought this up at the National Action Network, and then Al Sharpton deleted my footage from the Instagram because the real estate channels have their own channel, HGLTV. They buy a lot of the ads. So try to pump that message. Good luck, buddy. And see how much bullshit comes out the framework to stop your ass. I'm facing that right now.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, you by being a guy who's on the ground, I think that you probably agree with this statement, which is that we're going to spread this message better, face to face, on the ground, meeting. And
that's why I like what I heard from you. Who's going to the businesses? I'm going to the hood. I'll be in a story project soon.
And that's something I need. That's something I need to start doing. Yeah, I'll be there.
Let's go together.
I want to come to the ones up in the
together
too. I'm absolutely. Again, we need a unified front. If we as non-duopoly members want to be taken seriously, we can't just be fighting each other all the time. And it used to be that Greens, progressives, and libertarians, they all fought each other. They, oh, you're communists. Oh, you just love big business. No, I think we all want peace, justice.
That's why I'm excited by you, because you're that mix. You're that. Libertarians are already talking with the Greens. That's very fucking exciting. You're exactly right. I've been in the Green Party for over 25 years. I'm fucking sick of losing. You're damn right. And I just want all the other people that watch this channel, all the other candidates, right? You all saying the same thing. Well, why is it stopping us? Because the party leaders, fuck them. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We can work together. I'm ready to work with Libertarians, Greens, People's Party, the ones that's on the ground doing the actual work. Fuck Nick Brana. And, honestly, we out there. We really control it. They have their meeting right now. I'm going to there after this, United People's Assembly. I got connections in Washington, all over the states, right? Yeah, in California, and the United Platform for 22. I think that you could really be a strong headliner going against AOC, and that could really give you a better shot at winning. Putting you on a national stage if the progressive media will fucking talk about it.
And look, even if I don't win, and I am trying to win.
Oh,
I'm
me
not
too.
running as a paper
Me too,
candidate.
yeah.
I'm going to be hitting
Me
the
too.
fucking street.
I'll be with you.
But even if I don't win, if we can actually come together, progressives, libertarians, on these issues, we can be heard, and we can talk about these issues, and we can put them into the popular conversation, because people aren't actually talking about most of them. Like, people aren't actually talking about ending the drug war. They're saying maybe we should decriminalize this or that. Maybe we should do a one-off test to see if MDMA can be used for PTSD. Like, no, we need to have the big issues, come at them together, and be the spoilers, right? We need to spoil elections for people. If you're not going to adopt our positions, you're either going to lose or you adopt them. Like, there's no way around it. We need to come together so we're a large enough voting bloc on issues to scare these people to actually do something. And I want to go back to, you're talking about, Graham Elwood, Jimmy Dore, all those people. Remember, I want to. But remember they were talking about, remember Force the Vote?
I'm the first person in the nation to go to Force the Vote. I'm the first one to go to AOC's office. No one talks about it.
So let's think about Force the Vote. People were talking about that for Medicare for all, right? Great idea. But couldn't it have been about anything?
Yeah.
Like, it could have been any one issue. It could have been decriminalize marijuana on the federal level now, or we won't vote for Nancy Pelosi. And 70% of Americans support that. It would have been non-controversial, 100%. They could have done it. They didn't do it. We're still middling around with what we're going to do about cannabis legalization on the federal level. Nothing has happened. They could have done it on that. They could have done it on not having arms sales to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, we could have done it on any one issue. I mean, we Force the Vote on Medicare for all would have put people on the record. Where do you stand? Okay, that's good. It probably wouldn't have passed. Marijuana legalization probably would have. If it had all of a sudden been in the news, this is the big vote we're having to see whether Nancy Pelosi can actually be made a speaker if she'll just legalize marijuana. I think we would have legalized marijuana, and it would have been a year ago. And it was such a wasted opportunity. And the progressives in Congress had that leverage, and they just gave it up. And AOC, for better or for worse, she's seen as the highest profile of them, and she didn't do anything about it. And it why would you not use your leverage? Like, what are you waiting to use it for?
Strategy.
Past the point where you can use it most effectively.
I like that look. You're right. That's what we need, man. Yeah. If that's not your response, then we have a problem. I like that.
You know why they didn't is because they are career politicians now, and that's why I'm big on term limits. I know we might not agree on this, but here's why: because the moment you become a career politician, you are disincentivized from solving the problems you ran on to solve, because now you can't run on them again. You need to figure out something new to talk about, and that's difficult. If you can just keep running on ending the drug war and never end it, great, you're going to keep getting elected, because people don't pay enough attention to see if you actually voted on this bill or you sponsored that. They just want to know, has it been done yet? Do you want it? Okay, we'll keep voting for you. We'll keep giving you our vote. We'll keep giving you our money. And unless you're limited in some way, so you can't be a career politician. You have no incentive.
If I could just,
I want to serve 4 years and leave and be proud of what
I like that idea. Yeah.
If you're a career politician, you want to serve to your retire.
Now I actually agree with that. I don't totally disagree, so I just don't want to make it wrong. But let me just tell you one of the things that one of the reasons why I had a little hesitation on it. Right. The thing is that a lot of times the candidates are only in so much control. There's a lot of staff that stays from administration to administration to administration. There's corporate campaign consultants that are controlling things behind the scenes, power brokers, kingmakers, shit like that. And they're a big part of the problem too. So the thing is that they have some advantage because they can stick around year after year after year, develop relationships. When people are constantly cycling in and out, it's harder for them to really develop those relationships, or every time when you force a change, they have to deal with it again. You know what I mean? And also there's some weakness, because if I know your thing's going to change in so many years, right? But I know this other entity that's against you, right? Yeah, is going to stay steady. Then how can I really rely on your support for a long time? You know what I mean? So there's multiple issues. That's why, as an activist, I will make sure that I will continue to work on those issues with or without a title. You know what I mean? They cannot get rid of me. I'm the I'm that on the other side for you. You get what I mean? Right? They have their people, and it's me out here and some other people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you make a good point. The same lobbyists are going to be there after my 4 years in office as before my 4 years in office. But look, they have nothing to offer.
I like that.
Right?
I'm for your plan, and it makes sense, right? But the thing is that oftentimes we see people that are like not close to the ground who are like coming with simplistic problems, right? Like the media presented things in a simplistic way or incomplete, and also the answers are also incomplete. And right, the thing is that I feel like as activists being in the game for 25 years, that a lot of times we are cornered out. Celebrities and the politicians say something that sounds exciting and cool, and then a lot of times what's promised to us gets weaponized against us. That RAD program that I was telling you about right there was meant to give the projects to the people who are living there because the government wanted to divest from public housing, but it got transformed because we were told that a second fight would have to occur, and that now they're just not telling the people about it. Now that the public housing is up for sale, right? Yeah. Now they're just not telling the people in the project. A couple people have actually done it. I even have a person on my channel who's actually documented as having successfully bought their own apartment here in New York City, but nobody wants to talk about that shit. You know what I mean? They're even squashing me out of when I, as the top guy in the Yang Gang, as an Asian American going to National Action Network, right, to protest, right? Nobody talks about, not even the progressive media, not even Graham Elwood, or none of them people. Isn't that fishy? Isn't that weird? I'm telling you, the fingers in this game is deep, man. You think they're your friends, but I'm telling you, they may be compromised.
And I'll say this, like we wonder why these pieces of legislation that are overly simplistic when they're described. Like here's our plan. Why do they always end up doing the opposite of what's intended? Because they're not written by the politician. They're not.
Well, the implementation also, right? The implementation plays a different role as well.
They're written. They usually give authority to some new entity. So it's like, oh, instead of legalizing drugs, we're going to create an authority that will then go through to legalize drugs, and they just put a bunch of people in. And that's not going to solve the problem. And just very briefly, my last platform plank is a clean planet, and that's the exact problem there. Do you trust ExxonMobil and Chevron to go in and regulate ExxonMobil and Chevron out of business?
Good.
No. And that's what happened. It's a revolving door system of corporate hacks. And so, that sounds a little defeatist. Like, well, how do we do it? And I would say you have to treat pollution. And forget climate change for a minute, because that's a symptom of pollution, right? That's something that comes from
Well, I like that definition. So, I like that distinction. Yeah, I heard this before. I like this. Go keep going.
You have to treat pollution like it's assault. Like you have to treat it like someone has, if I take a gun and I aim it at you and I project a foreign body into your body and it enters your body and it harms you, that's assault, right? But somehow if I do that with emissions, or if I do that with sewage in your water, or microplastics in your water, or prescription medicine in your water, or any of that stuff, it's no longer assault. It's a public policy issue, and we need to get a board together to see how much prescription medicine and how many microplastics and how much oil we can dump into the ocean, instead of just saying, no, you go to jail now and you pay to fix what you did. And we don't do that. And by you, I don't mean ExxonMobil. I mean the CEO of ExxonMobil and any board member who raised their hand and voted yes for whatever the hell it is that caused this. They should all be in jail. They should all be personally fined. They should be the ones who are paying for this, not the people.
I love that. Men have a historically low level of testosterone. I'm going to drink this water with some microplastics and some pharmaceuticals in it.
Careful.
And no one's going to be responsible. Nah, I like that, man. You're damn right, right? This stuff has stuff in it, and nobody's paying the price. Then come on. It's this. You drink this every day, and you can't even control that. You know what I mean? You need to wake up and start paying attention. Yeah, if someone like this talking about stuff like this is some real serious stuff. Thank you, man. That was powerful.
Yeah, and people wonder. People ask, or people act like it's a big mystery as to why you said, testosterone is down. A lot of reproductive things that both men and women are down. And people are like, oh, how could this be? Why did this happen? And I like to always quote the movie The Graduate. The one word for you. Just one word. Plastics. Yeah. Everything is in plastic. Our fucking cheese is wrapped in individual slices in plastic. If you have touched a receipt lately, it's printed on plastic thermal paper. That BPA or whatever it is goes right into your bloodstream the moment you touch it. You can do a blood test on yourself before and after touching a receipt, and you're going to find that the BPA level in your blood is elevated just from touching it. It goes through your skin. And we don't know about all the rest of the stuff. They just say, is it toxic enough to kill you right now? No? Okay, go ahead and make it. And that's what we've been doing. And if the government signs off on it, you don't really have any place where you can sue them and get restitution for it. And so one quick way we could change it is just put out a law that says if the EPA says that this is allowed, but it still causes harm, you still have a right of action to sue them. And by them, again, the executives, the people who do the decision making. Because if you're just suing the company, it's a few pennies off the ship.
That sounds fair.
That
sounds fair. Yeah. That's what I really want, accountability from the top as well. Yeah. They need, right? I'm not saying, just asking for fairness, that's all. Thank you so much for that, yeah? Now, I actually have a bunch of political partners that I work with. I usually put them first, but, it's been a while since I've done the candidate interviews because I took a break after the New York City elections. I know it hasn't been that long, but let me just ask a question for my political partners right here. Number one, would you support Assange?
Oh, absolutely. Assange is an American hero.
I appreciate that, okay.
And he's not even American.
Hey, man, appreciate that.
He's not even American. He's a hero for America. I mean, he's a world hero. I mean, the idea that he's been in prison for years now, because that embassy was essentially a prison for him for a long time. Now he's actually in prison. And all he did was expose.
Oh, you know what's funny
crimes.
though? You know why England didn't release him to the U.S.? Because they said that U.S. prisons are too inhumane. Our allies said this. It's embarrassing.
Well,
it's embarrassing.
They're not wrong, but
it's it's just come on, yeah. So
Assange is a hero. Yeah, you should absolutely and just look at the way that whole sexual assault thing went with him, and you can see the way that the intelligence agencies work to smear people. Anyone who's doing something good will get something like that will show up on them eventually. Assange is a hero.
Yeah. Now, what about your position on UBI?
So I don't think UBI is a good long-term solution.
That's
but
fine.
I have a caveat to that. I have a caveat to that. Since 2008, the Federal Reserve, on average, has been printing the equivalent of $350 per man, woman, and child in the country, and distributing it every month to the big banks. Right? So it's called quantitative easing. We've been doing it with very few breaks, constantly since the financial crisis. The only people it has helped are the big banks and their customers, not their depositors like you and me, but their customers, people who are taking out loans at 1% so they can buy up the entire real estate market in whole towns, BlackRock or Blackstone, I always forget which one's which. Whichever one is buying up all the houses. That's the only people it's helped. Would it have been better for the economy and for the world and for the country to just give $350 per month to every man, woman, and child in America instead? Yeah. So if the question was, you get to choose one of these two things, I'm going to choose the one where we give the money to the people. But the Federal Reserve System is the only way that you can support MMT. Really, you need to be able.
For those who are watching who don't know what MMT is, what is MMT?
Modern monetary theory, and it's essentially the idea that you can subsidize debts by printing money, and you can give it to people, and you can essentially create a UBI system using Federal Reserve or central banking accounting tactics. That's how I see it. I don't think it works in the long run because there's nothing to constrain it. There's no reason that there's no market there.
It's interesting.
The thing that we had before 1971 was if the Federal Reserve printed too much money or they created too much of a money supply, people would take their gold and their precious metals or anything that they had and they would swap it in for cash or vice versa. They could have a check on what the government was doing and how they were spending and creating money using that. But now that there's a floating rate and there's no actual exchange there, they can't do that. And that's why since 1971, I always recommend people go to WTFhappenedin1971.com, and it shows that it's right there that everything starts to diverge. It used to be that productivity and wages went up like this. 1971, they went like that. It used to be that the rich and the poor, their net worth went up like this. In 1971, it went like that. And the reason is now the Federal Reserve can just print all the money at once. And where does it go? Again, it doesn't go to every man, woman, and child in the U.S. It goes only to the biggest banks. It benefits only the biggest banks. And here's an example of how. So they say we lower interest rates, it spurs the economy. You can borrow at a lower rate. You can buy a house for cheaper. Okay, great. Are you and I doing that? Are we borrowing money to go buy a house right now, or to buy a third house, or a fourth house, or a vacation house, or investing in some company? No, we're not. We're paying rent. And so while the rich are getting this discount on borrowing money, this non-market based discount to borrow money, they can borrow money cheaper, they can buy more, which means they can drive the prices up. When the price of this building goes up, the rent is going to go up. And that goes for everybody. Meanwhile, people like you and me who don't own things, who don't have assets, we get screwed because everything else gets more expensive. Our wages stay about the same while everything goes up in price. So the printing of money, the Federal Reserve System post 1971 has essentially been a subsidy for people who own
Yeah.
stuff and a tax on people
Hell
who
yeah.
work for a living.
Hell, you got it, man. You got it. That's the truth, man, for real. We knowing that out here. Now, another group that I work with is the disabilities group. And actually, just, my man, Mark Safman is from Astoria. I don't know if you've ever heard the name, but he's actually helped many candidates. Actually, he helped put disability stuff onto Jamal Bowman's platform, as well as 504 Democrats, which things are a little rocky there right now, but actually we just got back from Albany, right, 2 months ago to testify on disability issues. So, shout out to Mark, and he's from Astoria, so you guys could link up and, yeah.
I will definitely.
No doubt, man. Yeah.
So I have someone who's giving me lots of good feedback on disability issues. His name is Thomas Queter, Quiter. He's in a wheelchair. He was essentially, the day he was born, he was told he would be dead within a day, and now he's in his 40s. Thomas Queter. He's running for New York Senate in District 52. He's an incredible guy, and he always points out, like, the government wants to give me this wheelchair. This is a wheelchair that, based on my diagnosis, I qualify for. If I were to spend a day in that wheelchair, I would be dead. The way that my body weight is positioned, it would crush my ribs, I would suffocate.
There's a multitude of issues, but actually I've been asking all the candidates, like, about one particular issue of disability. I know there's a bunch of them, but right now people with disabilities are allowed to be paid sub-minimum wage. Now, this is a libertarian issue, which is, I know libertarians are not big on minimum wage, right? Yeah, so, but if we think about minimum wage maybe like a subsistence form, right? Yeah, where, like, that we look at that money and say, this is what maybe is reasonable for them to live, and then you look at disability people that have more costs. So this is actually a funny topic with libertarians, but I know that you're kind of like a fusion guy, or maybe like a progressive libertarian. I'm not even sure what to. Yeah.
Look, I don't think I'll give you the straight answer. I don't think the minimum wage works in the long run, because I think it drives people out of the labor market. In an inflationary environment, again, the Federal Reserve requires a inflationary environment. It's also stupid if it's not tied to inflation. But the idea that we would have a minimum wage and then say certain people don't get the minimum wage, that's an oxymoron. It's no longer a minimum.
Yeah.
That should apply to people who are incarcerated as well. If they're going to be doing labor, they should get paid.
Appreciate that for real, man. That's real.
That's
slave labor.
I don't. Yeah, it is literally slavery.
Yeah.
I don't see us getting rid of the minimum wage. It's not one of my campaign issues. I do think that it's a net negative overall in the long run. I'm not saying that people who are for it are bad people and they want to destroy the economy. It's a common sense issue if you look at it, in the current situation. But I don't think in the long run that it actually helps the poor. I think it makes things worse. But you can't get rid of it until you stop the inflationary system. And that means we have to get rid of the Federal Reserve. We have to stop what we just talked about, that difference between productivity and wages. Okay. So it is definitely not an issue that I would be working to abolish the minimum wage in my 4 years in office. I would say, if there is a minimum wage, it should be tied to inflation.
Cool, man.
Now that means if we get rid of the Federal Reserve and inflation goes negative, we get deflation, it should go down too. But again, I don't see that happening in the 4 years.
But if a bill should cross your desk, right, about giving people with disabilities, right, the right to a minimum wage, you would be for that?
Absolutely. I mean, it is.
Just want to make that solid for me.
I don't understand how that has passed through like courts and not been struck down. It's one of the most disgusting things.
At the hearing, right? Yeah, we were actually had to wait because they didn't want to let the corporate guys have to wait, right? Yeah, and they said that it was giving people with disabilities a choice.
So my great aunt recently passed away. She was an incredible person. She was 98, wonderful person. And she had her son John, so my second cousin, and he was born with Down syndrome. And he's the sweetest person on the planet. And she stopped everything. She quit her job. They shut down their business and they started a foundation. And the foundation was essentially getting ways for people with Down syndrome in Connecticut, where she was, to be part of their community. And the way that they did it, they got them jobs where they could be respected and they could interact with people. They got them housing where they could live with other people who had similar conditions and people without those conditions. They could have constant help. And the if she had been told, well, okay, John can work here, he can, bag groceries or he can do this or that, but he gets paid half, she would have smacked them in the face and said,
Yeah.
fuck you. Okay, that's the type of woman that she was. It's such a disgusting idea. I don't want to
Don't
talk
worry
about
about
it.
it. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Yeah,
I feel
I
like
get it.
some
I get it.
vomit.
Let's get to the last
thinking
issue.
about
Okay, let's get to Actually, there's one more coming up, but the trans community is another community that I work with, right? And the thing is that sometimes, right, people who are trans already have a lot of discrimination in the workplace, in their normal lives. So a lot of times they end up poor. Sometimes they're in public housing, where they face even more discrimination. And let's say, for instance, that trans people are underserved in the housing community, right? Of course, there's laws, whatever, right, that say it's not legal to discriminate against trans people, but a couple people in the hood show up, or someone's pissing on the door saying get the fuck out. I mean, there's no way to prove who did it. They end up being discriminated. They end up being pressured. They end up moving out, and we see in the system, right, that even that trans people for some reason are underrepresented within the public housing community. So there's different solutions that could come out. Like you could have maybe a quota. Whoa, what I mean? But that's also controversial because it could cause ghettoization, right? You could reserve certain slots. So what would be some ways that maybe we could help the trans community, right, get access to public services which are being, interfered with?
I mean, anyone who has a right to a service under the current law, who is being denied it for some innate, reason, something that is part of their life that they were born with. I mean, that's wrong. You should be able to sue the government and get restitution. If someone is attacking them, you should be able to sue that person and get restitution. I'm actually very proud. The Libertarian Party has been great on trans rights. We actually had Ashley Shade ran for North Adams City Council in Massachusetts and won just back in November.
Right.
I believe that she's the first elected trans woman in that part of the state or on a city council in Massachusetts, and she's a libertarian. So I'm very proud of that. The Libertarian Party has been pro LGBTQ rights since 1971, and the Libertarian Party has existed since 1971. So I'm very proud of that, to be a libertarian on those issues. What can we do at the individual level? How do we regulate human interactions? I don't think you can. Just like when we talk about systemic racism, I don't think you can legislate away racism.
Right.
I think you can legislate away the system, and then the system has less power over you when there are racists in it and racist undertones to it and racist the building blocks of the system were built on racism oftentimes. So we have to tear that down. And another thing is just talking about it. Like we have to be open about it. Like we have to be willing to say, we are libertarians, we're Greens, we're progressives, we're for trans rights. Like this is absolutely. But let me actually correct that. I don't believe in trans rights. I believe in individual human rights. Every individual human has the same rights.
But if we see that trans people are having problem accessing public services, or we see the numbers are off, right? Should we interfere to try to bring those numbers to something that makes sense? Or, right, maybe those numbers, a lot of times the numbers are collected are wrong anyways, right? But
and the thing is, I don't know how you would interfere, because one of the problems with government is it's often that pendulum. You push for something and then you get pushed back, and it goes like that. I feel like a free market and freedom is always the better way. And you'll listen to any Republican when they talk about trans issues right now. What are they saying? Like, oh, they're shoving it down our throats and they're making us do this or that. Stop making anyone do anything for any group and start enforcing individual rights. If an individual is, aggressed against or is discriminated against, that individual is being discriminated against. It's not the whole group. And we have to look at it that way. Otherwise, we're just going to paint everyone with the same brush, and there's going to be push between groups. It's essentially going to be a culture war instead of an issue of an individual's rights.
I think there's some truth to what you say. I think there's parts, it's a complex issue. So there's no way you could really address it fully in 5 minutes, but that's a pretty decent answer. I do understand it's a complex issue with a lot of different parts to it. So we'll address that more.
And I don't think the government can legislate morality, right? And of course it's immoral to not like trans people, right? I think it's immoral, but it's not illegal to not like trans people. It's illegal to treat them differently for that reason, or to harm them for that reason especially. That's definitely illegal. And part of the problem is, what cops tend to be right-wing. Cops tend to think, oh, they're shoving down this culture war stuff down our throats. And so maybe they're going to be a lot less likely to actually investigate or to pursue issues where a trans individual has been aggressed against. I mean, you get that all the time. I mean, especially, I mean, that's what we see everywhere. Like, cops love arresting people of marginalized groups. They don't so much love investigating on behalf of people who are in marginalized groups. And that's one thing we have to change.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So accountability, yeah. And I think that's really the core. That's what I've been fighting for this whole time: accountability. Because the thing is that any policy can get passed, but the system needs to remain accountable to us and keep us in, the people that are affected by the things involved in the process, not have some elites that know better sitting in some fucking faraway lands passing judgment over us. It's just ridiculous, yeah. Now the last group that I'm going to bring. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
the last group we're going to bring in is actually something that just came up recently. Well, not recently, but there's more talk about it. The Student Debt Solution Summit is happening this weekend. I know some MMT people are watching that as well. So the thing is, well, actually, I exposed corruption at Hunter College, just so you know, and actually as a public defender. Tell me if you. The thing is that I revealed corruption amongst administrators, where they were getting cell phones paid for and going on trips with the school money. I was actually removed from the school. Those administrators still work there to this day. I really don't see any justice happening. I'm still working on it to this day. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? I will still point them out. This video still exists. But in terms of like student debt and things like that, right? Right now they're trying to cancel the student debt. I have mixed feelings about that. We'll talk about, but I'll bring that up later. But what's your position on that whole thing? Because they're going to try to.
It's a two-step solution. First, again, the first role of government should be to do no harm. It should just be like if you're any other kind of professional, like a doctor. And the government has done huge harm, and it's done under the umbrella of doing something good. You know, let everyone go to college. But letting everyone go to college and giving them carte blanche to take out these ridiculous amounts of loans, which they're going to have to pay interest on to who? The same people who are benefiting from every other policy we were talking about, the big corporations and the big banks. So the student loan thing, you know, it started as a noble idea, give everyone the right to have a loan, and now it's ended up with people with unmarketable degrees, like mine was, who have six figures of debt.
Yeah.
And it's completely ridiculous. My dad could work part-time and pay his way through college. You cannot do that anymore. There is no place. And why? What sets price? It's supply and demand, like supply, demand, and then price is where they cross over. We've not increased the supply of colleges, and we've massively increased the demand, far more than is actually financially reasonable.
That's that's a huge part of it. Yeah, there's more, but yeah, that's.
I don't want to say most people. There's a huge number of people who have jobs that do not need a college education. I mean, I was a cold caller. I didn't need a college education for that. Huge numbers of people, but the bar just keeps being raised and raised and raised. Now you need a freaking master's degree to get the type of job that you could have done right out of high school before. You always see the postings like looking for a computer programmer needs 4 years of experience, $11 an hour.
Associate professors don't get shit; they're PhDs.
Yeah, exactly. There's entire and banks wouldn't make a loan for someone to go to college to get what is seen as a useless degree, right? Because they don't think they're going to get paid back, and they think that you're going to declare bankruptcy and default on it. Except you can't. That's what they've done. They've made it so there's no people respond to incentives.
Yeah.
There's no incentive not to go to college because you can get the free money, and then there's no and then you have to pay it back.
Yeah.
Even if you die, your parents are going to have to pay it back. So I think we need to end the idea of carte blanche student loans. I think we need to get rid of that. I think it should be if we're going to have government student loans, it should be needs based, and they shouldn't be loans. It should just pay.
Actually, the government insists incentivize them to keep pumping the price, because the more they get in the tuition, the more they can get as in from the financial aid. So they be pumped. They're actually incentivized to make it higher.
Yeah, and then look at what the universities have. Look at their endowments. Like Harvard and Yale have bigger endowments than like the net worth of entire countries.
Actually, what I'm going to propose during the Solutions Summit, which I'm actually on the Solutions panel, I'm saying they saying how we're going to pay for it. I mean, fuck that. Go to those endowments and raid that shit. Take all that shit. You know what I mean? The CUNY, corrupt administrators, go into their shit and take all their shit. Fuck them. They robbed us. Let's get our money back.
So I wouldn't it wouldn't be. I would not propose the bill to say cancel student debt. But if it came across my desk, I would vote for it because it's a problem that the government caused.
It's
a problem that the government caused, and they gave their banker buddies the money. Yeah. They gave the banker buddies not
Why
just
should the
the money,
taxpayer
like,
pay for it?
some money
The
right
people
now.
that robbed that shit, the people who got the money now. Who's got the money? Them schools. So some of the
They
people got the
gave
money.
the banks and processors.
Yeah, the banks too.
Yeah, they give the banks and the
Yeah.
processors. I have a bank that's collecting on my loan, but they sell it to a debt processor or whoever it is. Those people just get to have an income stream forever. They're not
Yeah.
making the loan. They're not taking any risk, and yet they get a return. Again, that's not a market. That's not how markets work. You can't take no risk and then get a return in any real market. And yet that's what we have. And so it's never going to work that way. And the government knew, anyone with eyes could see that that's what would happen when you just say, here's something that you can do for free, but then you owe money for the rest of your life. Like, people are going to take advantage of that. And the people who are the most knowledgeable about these things are the people who work for the banks. So of course they're going to take advantage of it. So we need to end that, and I would not shed one tear if we took all the money from the banks and just canceled that debt. And I don't think the taxpayer should be on the hook either.
I agree. You know what I mean? Yeah, stop bailing out the banks, man. And those endowments. It's time to get the money back. You know what I mean? They ripped off not just the students but the taxpayers as well. And the taxpayers ain't gonna bail out and endorse that endowment's sitting there like a big fat piece of cake. We ready to take it. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, and when people talk about bailing out the banks, like I worry that they think about like, oh, like the bank on the corner, like, oh, we need them, that's important. No, these are fucking investment banks. They're no longer like your corner bank. The way they make their money is not by making you a loan or by taking your deposit and loaning it out. They make it by doing issuing bonds for Apple or issuing bonds for.
Just so you know, these are no longer schools. These are no longer educational institutions. They're financial institutions. And if you take a look at them buying, right, what business does Cornell Pace have buying the projects? That has nothing to do with education. It's a financial institution. They making billions of dollars hand over fist, playing property games, right? Yeah, with the students' money. Nah, man.
I would compare them. I compare it to Scientology.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh yeah, we're a religion, but they're just out buying properties.
It's insane.
Buying properties and renting them out. Yeah, and that's what the colleges have said. I mean, what are you going to do with all that money? They got so much money. I mean, you got to put it somewhere.
The MTA is actually used to finance some campaigns. It's a straight and the schools too. It's a horrible, corrupt ass bullshit. And think about it. Now that the school is tied in with the money, and remember that General Petraeus, after his sex scandal, got a cushy job at Hunter College, right? Yeah, they sent Naz Islam, right? He's an intern to the White House as an intern, right? There's real connections there, right? Yeah, that's going on. And notice that this New York City election just happened, but there was not one talk, even though I had done it 4 years ago, right? And again in this cycle, I contacted every single student government in New York City and more, right? The thing is that they don't talk about the absurd price of college. They talk about canceling student debt, but it's all one way because they just want to keep getting the money. So there's no talk about examination or review, and it's ridiculous, yeah? So thank you for that.
And just like we talked about well-intentioned laws that are implemented poorly or they're given to some board to handle and then the board is just populated by corporatists, that's my worry about the cancel student debt movement, is that that's what would happen. And what they would end up doing is paying the banks their money with the interest, and then it would just be passed on to the taxpayers anyway. And by passed on to the taxpayers, I mean the people 50 years from now who are taking out 30-year debt to do this, and then the Federal Reserve buys it to keep the interest rates low and to continue the whole fucking cycle. So, like you said, if we just cancel it and then keep going, it doesn't actually solve the problem at all. The first rule of government should be to do no harm, and we got to stop doing the harm. Then we can sit back and be like, okay, where are we now? How do we address this? Do we cancel it and just fuck the banks? Do we do that? And that's probably what I would support. But we have to stop doing the harm first, or we're not going to be able to fix it because it will just start accumulating.
Okay. Cool, man. I love the answers now. One of the questions that I really have, I hope people are still watching. Yeah, we'll see, right? Yeah. But the thing is that one of the things I'm really looking for is that commitment level, right? It's easy to talk a lot, but are you going to do it? So right now, one of the things that I do is say, do you know anybody right now? You could say, let's look at corrupt leaders, right? Like Cuomo, right? That would be an easy one. Can you name any corrupt leader in office now or anything, right? Or in any position, right? Yeah. Where things are happening where you say this is wrong and you've seen things go wrong, right? You're a public defender. You've seen some wrong things. Show me.
Oh, yeah.
Show me you ready, right? Talk is cheap, man. What you ready to do, man? What's corruption? How you going to fit? Can you point out any corruption or, oh, I didn't see anything. Shut the fuck. You know what I mean? Where is the corruption at? How are you going to tear that shit out? You ready to call it out? Show me.
I don't know where.
I know where it is.
I don't know where. Yeah. I don't know where I would begin, man. Like
choose one. I could talk about Grace Manguli New and her whole corrupt, Democrat DNC little shakedown. You know what I mean? I know their whole freaking corrupt squad over there. Grace Meng, yeah. William Blake, yeah. You DNC Corp. I'm following you. But anyways, right? That's on the side. I could tell you about other things, but name one, just one. Shows you ready to fight. Shows you a fighter.
Let's make it specific to New York
yeah.
14. So I'll make
Come
it
on,
about
I don't care. Get her,
AOC.
AOC. Get her. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make it about
Damn,
AOC, which is that you run on one
Yeah.
you take money from all these well-intentioned people, and then you have too much money because she had a slam dunk race, you know, in 2020. So what did she do with the money? She's a progressive, you know. She's wants to challenge the party. She wants to annoy them from the left. What did she do? Her PACs gave all the money to the corporate Dems. All these corporate Dems who are then running at the time.
Actions speak, right? She talks the words, but the actions are different. What's up, AOC? You done some good things, but then, this is real weird. What's up? That's money.
And something that happens a lot, and I can't remember for sure if it's something that she has done, but other members of the squad have done this, where your significant other is the one doing your ad buy. And when you do an ad buy, you get 15% of the cost. And so that's how a lot of these people become very, very rich over time. You know, you run $1 million of ads, your family just made $150K. You know, in Joe Biden's family, I think it's his younger sister or his older sister who did a lot of it.
Yeah.
But if you are the manager who's doing the buys, you're getting all this money. That should be completely illegal. And I think all elected officials and all appointed officials, including judges, including the people who run on the boards and the heads of the EPA, all of that, all of their financials should be transparent in real time.
All right.
Like 100% transparent. And if you want to change your financial, let's say you want to buy a stock, sure, you can buy a stock. You have to announce it 48 hours ahead of time. And it has to be on the internet in real time. There should be a central database you can go to. So if I see that all the Congress people are about to buy some Boeing stock, okay, I can make some profit off of that. I'll buy some Boeing stock and then I'll sell it after they buy. But we should be able to front run our politicians because they are trading on inside information.
Okay. So
I would say the inside information trading is one of the biggest levels.
Hell yeah.
But it's so obvious, it almost feels stupid to bring up.
Well, you know what? Hopefully, through your, local experience, right, you have more, right? It's easy to point the enemy far away, right? Yeah, but can you fix things in this district? Like, I would talk about 14 and AOC. I could talk about more, specific people in, different organizations. But that's on the side. Yeah, don't worry about that for now. Yeah, but you're doing okay.
Well, I actually. Let's
you're gonna learn a lot more as time goes on. As your campaign, you're gonna meet new groups that are gonna put you onto new situations. So that's gonna develop as time goes on.
We are about to face impending doom in this district if the new De Blasio mandate goes through and it is upheld by courts. 44% of black men under 35 are no longer going to be allowed to work. 44% of black men under 35 in the Bronx. About the vaccine mandate. That's the number who are not vaccinated. And they're about to be completely expelled from society. All of them. And I think it's something like 30% among Hispanics. Among whites, it's a little bit lower. Among Asians, it's quite different. But they're just going to be completely excluded. They cannot have a job after December 27th. Who is that helping? De Blasio ran on the tail of two cities.
Companies.
Like
Pfizer, Moderna.
Vaccine
They making money hand over fist.
And this is the place where Graham and I unexpectedly disagreed. I thought he was going to agree with me that mandates are a bad idea. But he was like, no, it's for safety. And we had a polite back and forth. And look, I'm vaccinated. I got vaccinated. I waited a little bit. I got the J&J, but I waited to make sure everyone's legs didn't fall off or whatever it is. But then I got it. And the reason I did is that my job said, because we're a part of the city, we're a city contractor, essentially, we have contracts with the city, that I would lose my job if I didn't. And that would screw over 75 people. My 75 clients right now would all of a sudden have to get a new lawyer, I'd have to transfer everything. I'm not willing to put them through that. I don't think that's okay. So I sucked it up. I got the fucking vaccine. Look, I'm young, I'm healthy. I don't feel at risk to COVID, but I did it anyways.
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't, and they're about to get screwed over. And they're about to be, the most marginalized communities are about to be completely 100% marginalized. And the idea that anyone is out there cheering for this boggles my mind. It shows how well the propaganda has worked. I went to get a haircut the other day, and the entire time I was getting a haircut, it was one segment about how only stupid people would not get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Only like, oh, why wouldn't they do it? Like, look, I don't care why you're not vaccinated. It's your choice. It's your body. It's your choice. If the virus was 100% fatal and the vaccine was 100% safe and effective and there were no side effects, it's still your choice what you put in your body. And that's whether people force you to put something in your body or whether you choose to put something in your body. I think you should be allowed to do drugs. I think you should be allowed not to do drugs. And drugs include the vaccine. Again, I encourage people to get vaccinated, but people have very good reasons for not doing it. Now, maybe they're wrong. Maybe they're factually wrong. But if they choose not to, that's their own fucking decision.
Right.
And it is no right of the government to be telling you what to put in your body or not.
Yeah.
And the idea of cutting people out of the economy altogether, it is, and gentrification. How does it happen? The people who live there, the people who have businesses in a neighborhood, like the beach, not the beachfront, the waterfront property along the Bronx. Let's say a developer wants to buy all of that. Wouldn't it be nice if all those businesses went under, all the locally owned ones? And they might have 10 years left on their lease, but now they're out of business and they're looking for a new tenant. Well, we're about to do that because we're about to make sure that those whole areas are about to have a 30 to 40% cut in the number of people who can come to their businesses.
Yeah.
And that their employees, 30 to 40% of them, are no longer going to be able to work. And now
I got that.
everyone moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who moves in? The buddies of de Blasio, the buddies of Cuomo. We just had this come out that de Blasio was writing letters to people asking them to give him $150,000 for some fake charity of his. And then right after he wrote that letter and got the money, they got all these city building contracts. Yeah. Like, that's the way that it works.
Middle class people and rich people and tech people and a lot of bullshit going on.
Yeah. And I will defend AOC on one thing. And I know a lot of people, including libertarians, give her shit on this. When Amazon wanted to build the headquarters, like, I get us wanting to have a good business here, like a big business and have some good jobs. But that's not what it was. It was taxpayers giving them a ton of money. We were bribing them to come here. That's not good. That's not a free market. And when it's not a free market, it gets distorted and will always get distorted in favor of the rich and powerful.
Yeah.
And so I was actually okay with her saying, no, this is bullshit.
Hey, man, respect. Yeah.
Now,
I like that too, tell you the truth.
Yeah, her exact demands I didn't necessarily agree with, but to say, no, you don't bribe the richest people.
Yeah.
Like that's not how you don't subsidize the richest people. If the government's going to subsidize anyone, it's not like the number zero people that you would do it to. They're the last ones on the list. The last people I ever shed a tear for are Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and those types of people. Or Tim. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not running to help them or their businesses. I'm running to help the vape store down the shop and the taverna around the corner and the coffee shop over there, because they're going under. Just today it came out in the patch. One of the best Greek restaurants, a Greek Cypriot restaurant, a few blocks south of here. They've been open for like 45 years, family owned the whole time. They announced today they're closing. They don't have enough staff to be checking all the IDs. They don't have staff to be checking all this, and they were already hurting, so they closed. It's not that the people didn't want their food, it's that they couldn't make ends meet anymore. And then you combine that with inflation, and if you're not constantly raising your prices in an inflationary environment like this, you're going to get screwed. There's a kebab guy on the corner here that I go to like probably every other day. We took some wedding photos in front of his kebab cart. That's how much we love it. When we first moved here 4 years ago, the kebabs were $2.50. Then they went to $3 right after lockdown. Now they're $3.50. And like, okay, whatever. It's a kebab. It's $1. Who cares? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Like percentage-wise, I'm not even going to do the math. That's like a 40% increase. That's ridiculous. Like, if you're not willing to raise your prices all the time, and every time a customer sees a price that's gone up, something that's been buying for years, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, and you're going to lose some business over that. Yeah. And there's no quicker way to kill small businesses than to do something like that. Dunkin' Donuts will be fine. Yeah. There's a strip right here in Astoria, so I'm right near the Ditmars train station, and this has happened pretty much entirely since lockdown. There used to be a Greek coffee shop, and then there
Which one? I'm from
a
Astoria.
local.
Which
Sorry?
one? I'm from. I've been in Astoria for a while. I've been all around.
So I'm at the Astoria Ditmars stop.
I know that
so
one. Yeah.
The end of the
much love out to.
So
I know Tyron Carclades, but I prefer much love out to Lokumi, my favorite Greek restaurant. Yeah, my favorite restaurant in New York. Yeah, local me.
I
That's the
will.
bomb, man. I
Well,
love
let's
it.
see if they let me in. Because again, I don't show my vaccine card. I've not eaten indoors except for a few
Oh,
places that will let me sneak in. And I do that out of solidarity with my clients. So I've eaten indoors twice since November or September 7th. And it just happens to be a Greek place near me that I know
appreciate that.
will let us in without the cards, no
Yeah,
problem. But my cooking has gotten better. So that's good.
yeah.
And there's plenty of street food around here. But my point is, there used to be all local businesses along that, on the post office side
I
of
know.
that train
Okay.
stop. It was all nice, good local places. What do we have now? We got the Starbucks, we got the Krispy Kreme, we got another Citibank, we got not Kentucky Fried Chicken, we got a Popeyes, we got a Taco Bell, we got a Paris Baguette, and I'm missing one. But
That
all
sounds sad.
corporate. Oh, and another Dunkin' Donuts. Now we have Dunkin' Donuts around the fucking corner from each other. And I'm from Massachusetts, so I have a soft spot for Dunkin' Donuts. But we're in the best neighborhood for coffee. We're in the
Yeah.
best neighborhood for all of these types of foods. Why do we need these big chains? And the reason is they've there has been a policy to screw over small businesses for a long time. And when COVID hit, it tipped it over. It tipped it over so they could no longer survive. And who can afford to move in the depths of a pandemic when everything's going to hell? Only the big
Yeah.
businesses. They're the only ones who can mobilize at that time and to get in there and to do the renovation and sell their shitty food. And one day, if we do not change this, New York is just going to be a bank on every corner and a chain restaurants, a line of chain restaurants in between.
Yeah.
And no one wants that.
Now,
No one wants
this
that.
message goes out to my viewers right now. Jonathan Howe is a very exciting candidate for a number of reasons. Not just, right, as you know, I have the Unified Platform 22 where interviewing candidates, independent and third-party candidates from across the nation, but actually taking on AOC puts Jonathan Howe to really be near the top, if not at the top, of interest as for the upcoming election as an independent third party, one of the very top. He's gonna get it's gonna be hot, yeah. Not only that, but with his unique, it is unique, right? He's not so much a libertarian ideologist, right? He is to an extent, but he's also willing to mess around with other green parties and willing to be open and talk to other people. As in terms of building the coalition, we've already had coalition proof of concept. We had Libertarian Green Party all in one room agreeing on things, and I believe that a candidate like this is I know like some people that are watching might say white boy whatever, but we got to work with people like this if we want to get ahead. And honestly, y'all might feel like a lot of times they're gonna pull out a fake candidate who sounds and looks the way that you think a candidate would, right? Yeah, and they say, but you got to look for, are they really gonna do it? So they'll probably find some minority independent candidate to try to go against Jonathan to try to just cut out his campaign. They would definitely almost probably do that, but you got to ask yourself who's really standing for you and stay involved. Yeah, I would. So Jonathan, you have your website. I think you said how HOWE22 what is it again?
How HOWE2022.com.
Okay. Besides
how2022.
Besides how22.com, are you also on social media? Are you updating? How can people follow you in other ways and stay involved?
If you want my hot takes, as they call it, follow me on Twitter. It's at Jonathan C. Howe. And Jonathan without the H in the beginning. I know a lot of people put the H, J-O-H-N, just Jonathan C. Howe, at Jonathan C. Howe. I've got all my social media linked on the website.
Okay.
So I've got Twitter, I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram. I had to learn how to use Instagram. I'm not a big social media guy before all of this. So yeah, but it's all up and running. We got it going. We got a fundraiser going on right now. For every $100 we raise, we're putting out one of those winter cat shelters. I've become a cat guy since lockdown. And just to give you a little background, so it doesn't sound totally crazy out of left field, it was the cat rescuing that inspired me to run. Because lockdown happened, we were feeding these cats in the alley, and they had kittens. And we're like, oh shit, like now it's our responsibility. What do we do? And so we started trapping them. Like we set up a cage with a string tied to it. We were catching them like that. And the moment people saw what we were doing in the neighborhood, they were coming over like, how can we help? Here's some bags of food. Here's we can give you a ride to the vet. We can give you a ride to the ASPCA. And now we have 2 of the cats in here. They're our cats now. We've adopted out 2 kittens, and we've trapped, neutered, and returned, I think, 6, 7 other cats. We have a whole colony of outside cats that we feed. We see them every day. We have a little camera out there to make sure that no new cats come in. We'll trap them if they do. We'll fix them, get them vaccinated, put them outside. But the way the community came together, and this is in May, this is during the lockdown in 2020, people wanted to come out and help, even if it was just for cats.
No, I know there's animal rights groups who supported Curtis Liu. I met some of them. I might be able to throw some of them away. Let me see if I can find some of their information. Yeah.
Absolutely. And everyone was bummed out, obviously, for good reason in 2020. It was a very divisive time. There was a lot of dark shit going on. There was a lot of deaths. There was a lot of destruction, not just from COVID, but by the police and, but by everything. And the way that the community came together at that really dark time, I was like, you know what? There's hope. And no one else is really representing that, so I'm going to try. And there was a comment on one of the interviews I did. They said, "Who is this Pete Buttigieg lookalike nerd? He's the whitest guy in the world." And then he said a whole bunch of other stuff. And he's like, "But I'd still vote for him over AOC because he seems to have a hopeful
Okay.
message."
I'm actually
Okay.
I'm very involved with the New York People's Party. Actually, I've been to a bunch of meetings, stuff like that. Would you actually now they're still trying to figure out their bylaws as in terms of like who. I think that right now they're trying to ask people to run exclusively. But if they did decide to like co-endorse, right? Yeah. Would you be cool with the endorsement from the New York People's Party?
Oh, hell yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I like
I
this
mean,
guy.
look, we
I
need-
encourage you guys in New York People's
we
Party
need
to give this
to
guy a
come together.
serious look. Yeah.
I
No
appreciate
problem.
that.
And libertarians, you know, I
I-
want you and Greens. Yo, we need to gang up. We need to start winning. Aren't you tired of losing? Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't need to agree on
Yeah,
everything.
I
We
agree.
don't.
Oh,
If
yes.
we
You're right.
agreed on everything, we'd be in the same party, right? We would. We need to.
But we know what matters.
Like you said,
Yeah.
yeah, we need a priority
Yeah.
list. We need, and right now in New York, my big priority might not be your biggest one, but it's definitely mine, is to not exclude 44% of young black
I
men from the
appreciate
workforce, and to force people to take injections against their will. That has never ended well. Good ideas do not require force. If it's a good idea to get vaccinated, tell people
Yeah.
that, and they will. Eventually, it might not be as quickly as you'd
Also,
like,
yeah.
but good ideas do not require force.
I'm a Republican, I'm a Justice Democrat, I'm a Libertarian, a Green Party, and I work with them, and I know what they're capable of. I know that AOC can call a meeting on Thursday, get 8 volunteers to just show up, ready to knock on doors, get things ready, done for her. I know their strengths, I know what they're capable of, I know who's doing things. So, and I'm telling you right now that, you're going to need a street word to take on AOC's team, and I like what you're doing, and you got a real high possibility of me showing up and really helping you make things happen. I have a fully equipped, I have portable sound system, I got a folding table, I got access to, I'm making 10,000 flyers, I told you already, so I'm ready to come out, all the tools you need. I have some other people with me that's ready to come out. Nissan from People's Party and Neil, you guys have been awesome. People from other groups that we're working with, so if I'm ready to mount up the call,
I was pretty pleased. I was pretty pleased with myself when I printed 50 flyers. I was like, oh man, look, I got my first flyers, and then I looked at them, I was like, shit.
I'll share with you right. I think most people probably want to. I'll just share a quick story, my story, which is so similar to yours, right? Yeah. I also came from a wealthy family. I took college classes, math class in middle school. Right. I was doing very well, but actually being Korean American, my parents grew up with a lot of violence. So I also grew up with an intense amount of violence. I ran away from home at the age of 16. I lived homeless for a good amount of time. And during that time, it was seeing the people with the money, right? Oftentimes when I was begging, they would just shit on me. But the poor people saw me as a human being, and they took care of me. And, I'm not saying no rich people didn't take care of me too. Sometimes they helped too. But really, there was a real difference in terms of mentality. Right? So anyways, I finally made it, right? I did everything in college. I got some help, you know what I mean? The thing is that now at 40 years old, right, I'm 45, I told you earlier, right, recently I was in medical school, right, yeah, and that college debt has now made me broke, and now I have no chance at a future or a family, so I've been at Axe for over 25 years, so now I'm completely dedicated into this course, and you can see the determination and the passion and the commitment. Yeah. I'm going, man, and I have nothing else, and I am homeless right now, and I have nothing else in this world but to bring justice and to fight the things that destroyed my life and destroyed my family. My family is torn by the violence in my country, so I appreciate your call for peace. But I have sacrificed and lost so much, and I am going to go give everything I fucking got. And if it's supporting someone like you, I will help that happen. I will go anything. So you need people that are ready to go hard, and it's me. And the people in public housing, those are my brethren. And I've seen people get kicked out of school because they couldn't afford it. I've seen I know the homeless people by their faces, I know their names, and I hang out with them. Those are my brothers and sisters struggling out there.
Well,
thank you. Thank you for the homeless. I've seen you doing that work, and you didn't even talk about it in this program, but you've done significant work for the homeless. Yo, man, I was reading about you. I got excited, man. And for the people that are watching now, there's a lot of candidates. I've interviewed a lot of candidates. This one has a lot of potential. Jonathan Howe is a serious player in this game already just by taking AOC. You know what I mean? And honestly, the fusion, this is special. This is special. Go to his website, check his shit out. This is some real shit. Yeah? That's what I'm saying. We real similar, man. Yeah,
Thank you,
I
man.
also went for arts in the first because I didn't care about, but actually seeing how people are treating the emergency room. It's a law. You cannot turn people away. People who are sick. My girlfriend, she was from Japan. She didn't have an insurance card. They turned her away. That, you know what I mean? There was another one. Yeah, that's not the only story, man. You know what I mean? Yo, so like honestly, yeah, I'm coming for all of it, man. I'm coming for all of it. That's why I work so hard, and I don't care if Graham Elwood wants to protect his little fucking, or Jimmy Dore wants to protect his little fucking thing and put his people in. You know what I mean? Yo, I respect the work you've done. I respect the accomplishments you made, but nothing's stopping me. Yeah, and I will be your street warrior. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. And just to comment on what you said about the people who helped you and the people who didn't, you know, empathy is a spectrum, right? Everyone can relate to some people, not to others. And if we're not working every day to increase our spectrum of empathy, then it's going to decrease.
Yeah.
It's a muscle you have to work out. Like we're biologically, wired to have empathy and sympathy for our family and for our immediate circle. But we don't live in that world anymore. We don't live in tribes. We don't live in small community hunter-gatherer groups. We need to be actively expanding our the way that we think about the world and the way that we think about other people, and we need to act like everyone is part of our family, because otherwise they're not going to act like you're part of.
I like that a lot. There's
family.
A lot of people going to watch Jonathan and hear about his life, and they're going to judge. But think about it, are they judging you? Doesn't mean that just because he's a different background doesn't mean that he can't fight for us. You're right to be skeptical. You're right. But the thing is that be involved on the ground and make sure that everything's working correctly, yeah? He's going to take on the establishment in some ways, and he has some background in terms of, right? So you could try to dismiss him, but honestly, right, if you dismiss everybody, it's time for you to start fucking paying attention and making choices. And really changing shit, yeah? Really.
If I just wanted everyone to like me and just wanted to get votes and did it the cheap way, when you ask me, do you support UBI, and I see those UBI stickers behind you, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely support UBI. I'm 100% UBI guy. I would have just bullshit.
Well,
but I don't necessarily
but you don't know my
have.
position, because actually my position is that UBI, socialism or capitalism, either system can work for me, right? But the thing is that, right, in the end, when certain groups, right, when people are rewarded for failure, no system can survive that. Communism, people rewarded for failure. Look at this capitalism, right? Supposed we have now. People rewarded for failure. That cannot work. Yep. That cannot work, yeah? There must be accountability. Yep. There must be, and I like that you talk about the empathy, right? Yeah, don't think that empathy works one way, right? You're from the hood, right? You've been through some crazy shit. You look at this guy, you're thinking something, wait a minute, right? Yeah? Wait, are you doing the same thing? You know what I mean? Look, you're right to be skeptical, and you have to make sure that shit is in there. But this guy has some, right, being the libertarians, being the most successful third party in the nation, taking on AOC, right, yeah? And you have me, right, working with the Nationals, right, yeah? You look at my face, I'm sure some people think in some way, whatever, man. I'm working with Carmen Quinones, right, Occupy Night. I got a lot of, and I'm in the project, and you're going to see me soon, yeah? We out here and putting our lives on the line, ready to make change happen. At least I am. And I won't just stand for nobody. I won't just stand for some sucker. You know what I mean? Yo, if Jonathan turned out to be fake, I'm be all over his ass. But, honestly, we need people that's really ready to make the change happen. And you can't be doing that shit by just saying fuck everybody. We need to fucking mount up and put this shit together. And honestly, Jonathan, I have a lot of hope in this guy. And that's not just me just saying, I met a lot of people. So whatever, you know what I mean? We need some people like this on our side too, for real. So don't judge right away, right? Give the motherfucker a chance. And we'll see.
I appreciate that, man.
That's real. I think the people that I'm talking to, we'll see if that gets through. But yeah.
And look, in theory, this is a district that has shown it's willing to take that kind of chance. Like when AOC ran, she was saying, "I want to challenge the establishment," and people voted for that. And now, unfortunately, she hasn't in any way, in any meaningful way, except for theatrics. So, I mean, this is a district that is one of the most diverse districts in the whole country. It's one of the most, the district that's willing to take a big risk with a no-name person with no professional career. And I respect the hell out of that. Like, we don't want only lawyers in Congress, in my opinion. I mean, there's not many public defenders up there. Joe
Not
Biden
the typical
wants,
lawyers, but a lawyer who
graduates
graduates summa cum laude, the kind of idealistic lawyer that would stay and go for a public defender versus a regular defender position where they can make more money, or a public prosecutor, or a DA position where they could maybe launch that into like a freaking Kamala Harris position. I'd be locking up the, come on, man. I respect, as a lawyer, I know that you kind of made the integrity move, man. I respect that. So if you just say this guy's a lawyer, and you know what, people have been disappointed about public defenders too, and I know that, but follow this guy's history. I looked him up before this meeting, yeah? the people who are, some people get to be lazy, but not us on the streets. You know what I'm talking about.
And look, I've been called a public pretender before. It happens. Not everyone is always happy
There's
with
them out there. Fuck them.
the way when they get called by someone they've never heard before. And look, Bronx County Family Court is still closed. There has been no Bronx County Family Court in person since March of 2020. I still work from home. I work from this bed. I'm in bed right now because my wife is working in the other room. So I still work from home here in bed wearing a suit top. Sometimes I wear pants, but I don't even need to. But I have clients who I've never met. I have clients who've had their children taken away from them, and then we've gone through the court system. We've had hearings, we've had trials, all on the internet. Sometimes I've never even seen their face, and I've gotten their children home to them, closed their case out, and I've never met them. I've never met them face to face. And the problem isn't that I haven't met them, because I'm not the judge. The judge has never seen them. And it's very easy for a judge living in Manhattan, commuting up to the Bronx, and they're doing all fine. They got appointed by de Blasio and they're buddies with him, to just forget that the people that they're judging are human beings. They read the allegations against them. They don't get to look them in the eye. They don't get to see the mother who's crying and sobbing. I had a case where, I won't go into any details about it because
without pain, there's no urgency. That judge has no pain. Where's the urgency?
Exactly. There are cases where my client will be hearing something about their child, or they'll be hearing testimony that's very upsetting, and they'll start to cry. And in court, the judge has to sit there and listen to them cry. They have to remember this is an emotion. In virtual court, they can just take the mouse and hit the mute button. And they can turn off the camera. They don't even have to look at the mother crying about her child being torn from her arms. They don't have to look at the mother sobbing because their child is in foster care and they're worried about losing their parental rights. They can just mute it. And it's very convenient for them. And so as much as shutdown has been great for me. I don't have to commute. That saves me a few $100 a month. I don't have to go into the office. It saves me a few hours a day. Wonderful. Great for me. I spend all the time with the cats. Wonderful. But for my clients, and for any client who is not getting to have their due process rights in court, it is totally screwing them over. Forget the fact that they're about to become unemployable. Forget the fact that their entire community has been shut down. When they are in court, they don't get to be a human being in the eyes of the judge. And virtual court has to, and we have to go back to the courthouses.
Well, I'm glad that you've seen other people get dehumanized, and you know how outrageous it is, man. And
it's every day.
Yeah, I thank you for your work, man. You know what I mean? We need people out there that's ready to fight the good fight and don't give a fuck about the bullshit. Yeah, and not right. Yeah.
Let me say back same to you. Thank you for your work. We need people who are out there on the streets and willing to not.
And we know more of the actual stuff than a lot of these celebrities and these pundits, right? Yeah. They do not know the issues these YouTubers. They're cool and shit. You know what I mean? I appreciate what they're doing, but they cannot silence people that are actually working on the shit and know what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? That's the whole fucking problem.
They neither have a way. They neither have a way to know, nor do they have an incentive.
They can know if they talk to us. You know what I mean? They can know, but they don't. That's the fucked up part. So that's why. Thank you for talking to me, Jonathan. A lot of candidates. Tiffany Cavani had no time for me. Edwin De Jesus did. You know what I mean? Shout out to the fucking candidates that have time to listen to motherfuckers. If a candidate does not have time to listen to volunteers, does not have time to listen to independent press, then what the fuck do you think that they're going to do for you? Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, let me just add this. Next weekend, Wednesday, I'm doing a forum on the state of public defense. So it's going to be with a libertarian channel. I'll link it on my Facebook. It'll be up later this evening. It's going to be me. It's going to be a guy who's the head public defender in Indiana, I believe. And it's a guy who was a public defender in Rhode Island and now is running as like a progressive Republican AG. So I've never met these people, but we're going to have a roundtable about where public defense is right now, how it can be improved, and what is actually going on the ground. So that's why I'm very excited because I can just nerd out about public defense, which is obviously my passion. Check that out. It's called the State of Public Defense. I'll share you the poster in just a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I encourage you to visit later and maybe put in the comments, right? Put your links and all that stuff. Yeah, I'll visit too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey man, this is I'm definitely is anything I covered most of the I'm sure we're going to be interacting again, but a lot of my core issues, right, that I wanted to know about got answered. You met expectations. I did watch my other interviews, so I expected that you would. Thanks again, man. I'm really excited to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm. Thank you for throwing this together.
No problem.
I reached out, and 2 days later, we're on here, and we do an hour and 48 minutes.
No doubt,
great. I'll bother you again next week. We can do another 2 hours.
Well, let's see, man. I have a lot of things cracking, but I will actually send you some information about that the platform for 22. Help you contact other candidates.
Yep.
We're actually trying to do a national symposium, and I'll mention it the student debt thing. The solutions thing.
Yeah. And actually, fuck doing another interview. I want to meet you on the ground.
We are. Yeah.
We'll be out doing it.
I'm going this weekend.
The next time we meet
to Williamsburg projects. I'm going this weekend with the 10,000 flyers. But I'll be in a Astoria project soon. Probably next. I'll do that next weekend, and maybe you could even meet Mark from the disabilities. Yeah.
Awesome. So actually, I'm having a meet and greet the 18th. December 18th. We're having a meet and greet at Bohemian Hall, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Oh, I hope we can make it. Like, that's a sad. 3 p.m. Oh,
it'll be all.
I'll be there and
afternoon.
I'll film it. Yeah, what's good, really good. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. I'll see you there, man. I'll send you the link.
Bless. Have a good night.
Thank you.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
we
words
are on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.